That would be Nelson's and Cloninger's and Lombardi's down there. So looking down Scott Eyre.
And so this is where your property on the lakeside of Scott Eyre begins. What I'm thinking is that we start the access road to Planchons here, and this is actually conveniently where they have proposed the new road starts. So what I'm thinking is we exit the road, we exit Scott Eyre here, and then we take this all the way down to their pad near the lake.
I see it as a natural. You're coming up the road, and then instead of driving further down there, you just go straight down that path.
So this is the site of the existing driveway, and here is a spot where the fire department wants a turnaround circle, and that would result in a 20-foot retaining wall out to here, and that is why we're seeing a new proposal from the Planchons about using a different access point at the beginning of your property near the Nelson's house. So this stake right here designates the start of Planchon property. We're currently on the property owned by the former owner of Milet property. So this is about where I figure the proposed road is going to enter the current easement road. So there'll be a roundabout over here on the hillside, and this is where we'll enter the road again. And then off to my right over here is where they want to cut into the hill to bring the new proposed road down.
Dad, I'm worried about your self-driving Tesla being able to make this turn. Looking over the hill, we can see Milet's.
Here we are at the northwest corner of where the Madison Property Group property ends, and right here is where the Planchons want to bring in the new proposed road. It would come down the hill, and then it would come over the hill here, do a roundabout, and then back onto the existing easement road. So this is the hill. You can see it's a lot lower than the pretty sheer drop off on the other side, and I'm getting the impression that they would rather cut into the hill than to fill out and reduce their use of retaining walls.
What do you guys think? So what did you find up there?
Well, I could see the road from where I was. It was probably about 30 feet laterally and maybe 40 or 50 feet above me height-wise. And it's relatively mild terrain as far as the hill goes, compared to a lot of the hillside here.
You see our concern that the current road goes right through the best spot to put a house. It would be a great place for an old folks tent, where we can put old folks, kind of like the Indians did. We give you a tent, and they could stay over here and watch the sunset, gather berries. The nips would be right through there. Closer than you think. This is new. We're coming down into their land, and we see a tractor this time. Brand new rig with a wood chipper on the back. We ran into the Nips on the road, and they said to say hi to you guys. Looking down, I can see their house and Milet's. And then they say there's one more lot between them and Swaylocken. So Alan went up that hill.
And so I just went up through the woods here, and following this pathway, I kind of ended up slowly going to the right just because that's what was available. But the interesting thing is that I popped out on the current easement road about 10 feet to the northwest of this stake, so on the Planchon side of the property line, and I was probably about 30 feet to the southeast of the excavation road that exists up there currently. So I actually think this is a sign that my idea of coming in from the top where the most recent proposal from the pension. So if we start up there, I actually think that we have a pretty good pitch to make them make a much more direct shot off of the Roy property. It would just be a straight diagonal, would not cut back onto the current easement road. It would come straight from Scottyre right down to this path. So working off of the most recent proposal where they start at your corner of the property line on Nelson's and your current lot over here by Milette's, I actually think it'd be really good for them to use the road that they're proposing to build, but they would angle it more towards the lake, so it would be a little bit steeper. But what this would do is essentially it would just cut straight down the hill and end up right here on the parking pad. I think this would be a good flat spot for them to either have a parking pad or a garage. But what this would do is it would give them a much more efficient path straight down the hill, and this would essentially eliminate the use of the current easement road. They would be cutting across it diagonally, almost perpendicular, and that would just cut them straight through the property, get them off your property much faster, straight onto their land.
Giving us that whole hill up there. Alan officially stealing your wood.